Previously on Kombi Life, we came to the USA in search of a classic Volkswagen with the idea of driving it across the planet. After finding our new tiny home on wheels in the Arizona desert, we have spent the past 6 months getting it road ready for this expedition. By teaming up with a bunch of legends, we've managed to build a solid foundation for this adventure rig, but it's not yet a home. Out of time on our US visa, we had a few short weeks to cross the continent, which was indeed a great adventure in itself, but the enormity of the task kind of took its toll on us. Still, somehow we managed to pull this off, and so in this episode we are now ready to ship Boomerang across the Atlantic for the next adventure. All we have to do in the meantime is survive van life in New York City.
Boomerang's last few days road tripping in the US were spent doing some solid driving. The ship to Europe was leaving any day now, and this was the last hurdle that we had to overcome in order to send Boomerang off on his first international adventure. However, the Kombi wasn't the only team member in need of assistance.
So we've just had a quick stop in Pennsylvania, Philadelphia, to get Alaska's documents all set and ready for her to travel on a plane. It is a really difficult kind of situation because we need to make sure that she has a rabies vaccination, which she's had plenty of, but it needs to have been done in a correct way. So we're hoping that everything is okay. So we had to go to a vet to get her travel certificate, and that's all good. We got it signed, we've got it shipped off, and hopefully we're going to get it back in time before she leaves, and hopefully there is no issues. So this is just an example of all the paperwork that we had to get organized for her and get ready. So hopefully after all this it is going to be smooth sailing. Alaska, you're going in the plane to Jersey.
Next stop, New Jersey. Did I say that right? New Jersey.
New Jersey.
New Jersey.
New Jersey.
Walking here. Walking here.
Ben wants to go to New Jersey to see the New Jersey because he's from the old Jersey. And he always says to people, I'm from Jersey, the old one. So we have to go to
I say, I'm from Jersey, the Jersey.
Next up, New Jersey.
Jersey.
With all team members sorted and New York finally in our sights, for the first time in months we could ease our foot off the gas ever so slightly. The only thing that stood between us and the finish line now was surviving van life in New York City. This should be interesting. We woke up here, just across from the Big Apple in New Jersey. Even by her high standards, Leah had been outdoing herself as chief navigator, finding us free van life camp spots across the country. This one wasn't in nature, but it was still very cool. Good morning, New York!
Good morning, New York!
It's New York City!
It was great to wake up here and appreciate the city for a moment before we jumped into the madness.
This was the first time in New York City for all of us, and I've got to say we were pretty excited to be here. I guess there are two options for van life in the city. One, park on the outskirts in the quieter suburbs, or two, park right in the middle of it. We opted for option 2.
of love and hope and flesh and blood.
Almost 9 million people live in New York City, and almost half of the households own a car. But not on the island of Manhattan, New York City's most densely populated borough. Here, driving is actually a nightmare.
Yeah, cities, huh?
And public transport is favoured by the locals. Finding a space to park, however, is still not easy.
You might as well join in.
We needed to find somewhere to park for the night. A nice, quiet, safe neighbourhood. We chose Harlem.
These days Harlem isn't quite the ghetto that it used to be. The crack wars have been over since the mid-90s and murder rates are down at least 75%, I'll have you know. Still, I'm not a city guy, and I was a little nervous about parking our bright blue Kombi in this hood.
Given the recent attempted break-in in New Orleans, and the fact that all of our worldly possessions were in this bus, we had to do something to improve security, as we still didn't have any curtains.
We have to leave our bus in the middle of New York City on the streets, so we are trying to block everything off with this fabric so nobody looks inside and sees that all of our shit is in here. So we just got some magnets as well to keep the curtain up and flush so no one can see through. It works pretty well.
I'm probably going to sleep in here tonight because I don't really want to leave this bus with all our stuff on the streets of New York City, but we do have an Airbnb for the next few days whilst we sort out the shipping of Boomerang to the UK.
Also, I cleared everything out of the front and just dumped a bunch of crap in there to make it look like it wasn't very pretty and there would be nothing of value in here.
So when we were just getting out of the bus just now, 7 police cars turned up with between 2 and 4 policemen in each of them, because there were gunshot fires as we were loading up our stuff to remove all the valuables from the Kombi. So I don't know if we're what part of Harlem we're in, or if it's a ghetto or what. It doesn't seem too bad, but it's a little worrying.
You got red and black? Say it again.
Nervously leaving Boomerang on the streets of Harlem, we headed out to explore one of the world's most lively cities.
Swing through New York City like in my dreams with New York pretty. I wanna fly in New York City, run scheming light in New York city. Awakening is falling, dreaded hard. Be sure to stay high. But it's downtown that hard and night fly. Central hero shining silver beats a lullaby. I'd rather be there in New York. Out again in New York, taking that glare of New York. Yeah, baby, share my New York.
It's funny, isn't it? The first time we come to the big city, and the first place we go in the big city is the place that most resembles nature.
Central Park. Park's awesome. It's huge.
It's you and me, New York, brand new dreams in New York, and I'd rather be there in New York.
Alaska's pretty tired too. It's really hard being 1 foot tall with all these people around. So I think it's time to leave Times Square and go home.
They say that New York is the city that never sleeps, and a recent poll showed that 75% of city residents fail to get the recommended 8 hours of sleep. Perhaps that's because there's just so much to do here. Leah wouldn't be one of those people. She'd be sleeping soundly in her Harlem Airbnb. I, on the other hand, had opted to sleep on the streets to safeguard Boomerang.
Morning. I stayed in the bus last night. I was on security duty. It was actually pretty calm and not too many police sirens, and it wasn't actually as bad as I thought it was going to be, but still, staying in the city is not my favourite place, but there's no way I was leaving all of this junk inside the bus. Someone was breaking in. I was going to be meeting them with some bear spray and my machete and a big smile. But that wasn't needed. On a side note, these temporary curtains, this weed block stuff, actually works really well because people can't see in at all, but if you have any lights on, they can see straight in. So the idea last night was super stealth, not let anybody know that I was in here, and I did not want to be disturbed.
Boomerang was about set for departure from the US, but before we could leave, we were also waiting on Alaska's health certificate to be endorsed from the US Department of Agriculture. Her paperwork was more or less in order, and these forms would determine whether Alaska could board the plane or not.
Is that it?
Sign. Stamped.
Yes!
You're coming to Europe, Alaska! Woohoo!
Oh, that's so good news. Oh, thank God, that was so stressful. We did it.
Aside from the fabulous Central Park, it's a concrete jungle here, and it's not an ideal place to have a pet. There's a dog in there. What the heck is that? Look at this. There's a dog in there. Alaska's been to many places all over the Americas, but the Big Apple wasn't her favourite place. There's just too many people for her, and if I'm honest, as much as I do love visiting New York City, I couldn't live here for too long. There's too many people here for me too.
We're just on our way to drop off our bus to the shipping container place to ship off our bus to the UK, and the bus survived any break-ins and damage in Harlem.
Yeah, I was very
Thanks
heroic.
to Ben.
Yeah, guarding all night with my machete.
Well, I slept in the room.
And bear spray, which we have to get rid of before we put this thing on the boat, because I don't think the Brits are going to be very happy when this Boomerang turns up full of bear spray and other aerosols and stuff like that. So we'll do that.
So to prepare the vehicle, we are emptying all our cans of spray and anything that's kind of combustible. Is that right?
Yeah, we're allowed to keep a quarter of a tank of gasoline in there. Someone said we had to empty the engine of oil. That is not happening. But we are going to have to get rid of some of the spray cans that we've got. And this one's full and expensive. This is undercoating, so I'm going to go and blast the bottom of Boomerang a little bit.
So yeah, we've got about a box full of stuff that we need to get rid of and try to use up before we drop it off. That's what it looks like at the moment. It's full of boxes. We've got our list of things that we have in the vehicle that they can check, and hopefully that's it. Hopefully.
Hope we can trust these guys.
To our surprise, the whole shipping process had been fairly straightforward. It would have been great if there had been a ferry for us to all jump aboard together, but alas, there is not, and Boomerang would be making this journey across the Atlantic alone.
Thank you.
Thank
you.
Okay.
I'm nervous. The cost of shipping the Kombi was $1,540, with about $500 more to pay to receive him on the other side. Other than a few forms to fill out, the whole process is about as complicated as what we're showing you. so far less stressful than we were expecting. Our only real complaint is that we didn't get a lot of reassurances or information of any kind about what was going to happen next. The plan was to meet up with Boomerang in 2 weeks' time in the large shipping town of Felixstowe in the UK. Or at least that's what we had been told.
This is the last time he's going to be in the US. The next time we see him, he's going to be in the UK, in England.
No, that's it. We're done driving, done road tripping the US. Sure as heck did a lot of it. Should we take that? Now what do? We're going to walk back to New York.
And we've got no home and no vehicle.
Damn, that was fast.
It had been a lot of hard work to drag Boomerang out of the desert and building him up strong enough to begin crossing continents. Ben and I had come to do this alone, but if it had have worked like that, we would have never have made it this far. We have already achieved so much with this project, but it is through the help of our friends that it has been possible. That is not something that we take lightly, and we will remember it with every mile on this expedition east.
So it's time to leave, but are we done with America? No, not by a long shot. This continent has captured our hearts like we never thought possible. Through this project and our previous adventures, we've had the privilege of spending quite some time in this part of the world, and we can both say without hesitation that at some point in your life you need to come here for yourself to experience this land, its people, and the incredible hospitality. America, Canada, Mexico and beyond. Sure we will be back. Coast to coast, there is enough opportunity for adventure in this land to keep us exploring for a lifetime. But right now, we are in pursuit of a different scale of adventure. It's time to step up to the challenge. The world awaits.
Hey guys, thanks so much for watching the video. We hope you enjoyed it. We have recently finished filming a video about our route plan on the YouTube channel members exclusive page and also the Patreon page. We know a lot of you guys have been asking us where we're going on this trip, so we've also made it public so everybody can watch it. So if you want to see that, click the link so you can see where we're intending to travel on this round the world expedition. As a little bonus for you guys in the Kombi Crew, we are asking you to help us shape the content that we are going to be filming for this documentary series. You guys are helping us make it, and it wouldn't be possible without your support, so please click the link and add your details of where you are in the world so we can come and hang out with you, do a road trip with you, explore the regions in your part of the world and include them in this Kombi Life travel series. Until next time, happy travels.